Hello, and welcome to Special Connections. This is our secret underground bunker. Uh, Special Connections is a group that my wife Jamie and I started as a Facebook page, and now we're moving on and including a YouTube channel. But the heart of Special Connections and where it really started for everyone was actually in a binder that my wife started. So I have my wife Jamie here today, and I'm going to introduce her, and we're going to talk about what is now becoming, to a lot of people who reach out to us, the infamous binder, and what it is and how that's been a support to us. So let's start with introductions. I'm Adam Newton. This is my wife Jamie. We've been married for 21 years, and uh, I have two brothers with disabilities. I've worked in the field of working with folks with disabilities for how long, Jamie? Oh gosh,
25.
25 years. Uh, we've got some adopted kids, and some of them have varying levels of disability. So that's kind of where the passion of it all came from.
Mhm.
Um, but Jamie, my wife, has also worked in the field. Obviously, has also been a mom to kids with disabilities. She has been volunteering as a sign language interpreter for music at our church during worship. Uh, and what else, James? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. So, as Adam said, we have 5 kids. They are all adopted. And that is kind of where the passion for me at least came from was when we started to get all these diagnoses coming in. I was really overwhelmed and I didn't know where to put all of that, all the information I was given. And so we have a binder on each of our kids because that was the easiest thing for us to do, and keep everything organized. And from that came this other binder.
Awesome, excellent. So let's talk about this other binder. Can we see it? Do you have it with you?
I do. It's kind of messy right now, but because there's been some families that I've been helping, but this is it right here.
That is a thick binder.
It is a thick binder. Yes.
Nice. I'll have to make you an insert for the cover or something to advertise on it or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. All right. So, what is the purpose of the binder? Where did it start? And then we'll dig into what is in there and how do you use it.
So the purpose of the binder is to keep everything that I've collected throughout the years kind of all together in one spot. So I'm not searching drawers or a junk drawer like, oh, where did I put that piece of paper? I try to keep everything organized as much as I can. Um, what was your other question? I'm sorry.
Where'd you get all? What's in there and where'd you get it all?
Oh, so I go to different events that different agencies might put on, and usually there's a couple of different other agencies that might be there trying to get their name out there, and they have different flyers. Most of what's in here is a flyer based off of their different services that an agency might have. But I would say probably most of this came from a winter fair that I went to back in, I think it was March.
Excellent. Okay.
Yep.
And so, just to give a little bit more detail of what Special Connections is before we get deeper into the binder, we use the Facebook page to communicate to people about events that are going on in the Central New York area. We use it for families and mentors to find activities out in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we use it so that service providers, families, individuals can communicate with each other about different things. And right now, I've got it pulled up on my other screen here. It's got 140 members, and it's everybody. It's people that work in the field. It's families. It's individuals. And I every week try to put on as many flyers as I can find. My current employer puts out a post every week, so I usually grab most of theirs. That's where a lot of it comes from, but I also grabbed some from other folks. I have an email actually from a care manager today that sent me a couple that I'll probably put on this afternoon. Um, so that's the Facebook page, and we'll have a link to it at the bottom of this video for people. And I'll put it on Special Connections, and I'll put it on our regular Facebook pages to help kind of show people what's going on. But the main purpose is we're going to start putting these videos on our YouTube channel, and we're going to have interviews like this with you and I. We're going to have interviews with different service providers talking about what those services are. So that's kind of an overview. But the binder itself is kind of where all that started. And right, you have in this binder pretty much every type of service and provider for developmental disabilities, mental health. I think you have some inclusive use stuff in there for different schools. You've got information in there for I forget what
Adaptive
it's called.
services,
What's that? I'm sorry.
adaptive services.
Adaptive services, right? That's what I was thinking of, was the like the wheelchair basketball and things like that. So there's a ton in there. So
Yep.
we don't want to go through everything today, but maybe you could just kind of give us an overview, pick out some highlights, things that you see that people are constantly kind of the most need for, and talk to us a little bit about that information and why the
Yeah.
binder is helpful for all of that.
So I think the first thing is, a lot of parents are like, where do I go to get a diagnosis? I think that's the first thing. If you don't already have that diagnosis, where do you go? Unfortunately, a lot of places there is quite the um, the wait. I heard today that this one place has almost an 18-month um, wait to get in. Um, but so we have different places where you can get a diagnosis, and then what after you get the diagnosis, what do you do? So then if you're going through OPWDD, you would get a care manager, and what does that look like? And then it's the different agencies that you might be able to get services through. There's educational stuff in here, there's recreational, there's different therapies. There is law guardian, or not law guardians, but law firms that do help with specific things that do have to do with kids with special needs. There's summer programs, there's respite programs, there's mental health services, support groups, because that's really important too as caregivers, that we take care of ourselves, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, it's harder to take care of the people that need our help. And then there's just different things in here, different events, just different things like that.
So I'm a parent. I'm struggling. I'm trying to figure out how to get some supports, and I want to reach out and contact somebody to help me kind of get started. And
Yep.
that's who you are. You're somebody I can call, and you're gonna have this information for me.
As best as I can. Yeah, I mean, I can give you the information, and then what you do with that information is on you. But I will help you as much as I can, and hopefully point you in the right direction, and what your next steps might be. We have gone through a lot of the steps ourselves personally. Um, so we can kind of understand what parents might be going through a little bit,
Right.
you know.
So I'm gonna post this video publicly, so I'm not gonna necessarily just throw your phone number out there and blast you with who knows who from wherever. But Special Connections has an email address, specialconnections23@gmail.com. And I'll make sure that's also posted down here, so that people can email us. But I would say that's probably the best way to get in touch with you
Yep.
on a public forum. There's some people
Yeah.
who already know you, obviously, that have your number. But for most people, I'm going to say specialconnections23@gmail.com is the best way to get in touch with us. And I say you, but obviously I'm also involved in this, and they can get in touch with either one of us. Um, one of the things I'd like you to clarify about is, so you have this information, you'll pass it along to different families.
Mhm.
We make copies and scan and stuff like that, and give them copies of what you have in your binder. But I know that The Jamie rule of the binder is that the binder does not get loaned out, right?
Nope, it does not.
Right, because that is your holy grail, that binder. So there's no letting go of that bad boy. Uh,
No, there is not.
so I know that's something that you've made clear, and
Yep,
I appreciate it. It makes sense.
yep,
But you always more than happy to make copies and take
yeah,
photos and send things out to people and links and all of that,
yep,
which we're always, of course, happy to do. Um, I think another important thing for families to know is that there's this is not a for profit. We're not even a non for profit. We're not like officially set up that way or anything like that. This is nothing more than a Facebook
parents
page, a
helping
YouTube
parents,
channel,
yeah,
some conversations.
yep,
So if you come to us and you need support and stuff, we've got a ton of information, right, to
yep,
just put you in the right direction. Um, but we don't have the time or resource to do any of this for you, right?
right,
So
right.
kind of explain a little bit of what that looks like. So somebody comes to you, you give them information, then what?
So after I give them the information, I try to check in at least once or twice within the next couple of weeks to make sure that, you're doing okay. Is there anything more that you might need? Um, but I always tell parents or caregivers the best person to advocate for your child is you. You know them the best. And so you're going to know what they might need better than I'm going to know. I know what my kids need better than, if I found another parent who might be doing the same thing. It's you're the biggest advocate for your child, and you calling these different places is the first step, I think. Well, actually the first step is asking for help, right? Then the second step is making sure you're following through with the different information that you're given. And I feel like too, a lot of times parents are given all this information and then it's like, well, here you go, here's the information, here's what you do. And you're just so overwhelmed because you're living in this day to day, trying to just get through day to day. And that's the other thing that, we're here to do is to help, maybe explain some of these services. Cause like you said, you are in this field and you kind of know some of the services better than I do. So we're just here as a support for parents or caregivers to walk through that process, but you're the one that's going to have to do the heavy lifting.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Which is overwhelming. It is, and
it,
it's a
it
lot.
is.
And that's why we want to be able to be a support. That's why we put this together. That's why this group is here of over 100 people to lean on.
Right,
Um, but you still have to walk it yourself,
right.
um,
Yeah.
which is huge. And you made a cheat sheet recently to help families out. Is that correct?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of sprung that on you. I don't know if you.
No, that's okay. I did. Hold on. I wasn't planning on doing my binder today, so like I said, it's a little messy, but hold on. I have
That's all
stuff
right.
kind of.
I like that they see that there is a little bit of disorganization in the organization. You know what I mean? So that then they feel comfortable too about the fact that maybe they don't all have it 100% because we don't.
Yeah. No. Okay. So usually when I meet with a caregiver or something, I try to, there it is. I knew I had it.
I knew you did too.
So I try to give them stuff that has helped me. Just because it helps me does not mean it's going to help you, but I'd like to give you the information and then you do with it as you wish. Um, but I have this, I don't know if you can see it, but it's how's that?
Yeah, perfect.
There you go. So it just has like, the child's name, address, basic information, and then down here it has the primary care physician and the phone number, address. So everything's kind of all on one sheet. If you have any counselors or therapists, that's all on the same sheet. Specialty doctors. Um, then some of the other stuff would be the insurance information, because every time you call a new doctor, they want your insurance information. So instead of getting the card out, you got that, you've got the dental. Then we also have, once you get the diagnosis, the diagnosis, the date of the diagnosis, the doctor who gave the diagnosis. There we go. We have like the medication, we have the dosage, the reason it's prescribed, because sometimes when you go to the doctors, and this is good to take to the actual doctors too, they'll say, well, why was it prescribed? And instead of trying to remember it in the brain, you've got it all right down here. You've got the prescribing doctor, you have allergies, and then, you know, the date of your last physical, dental, vision, maybe if you have a new appointment coming up, that's always good. Hospital emergency, visits, you know, that's on there. And then if you have someone that you're caring for that is still in school, you know, it has the school name, address, school nurse, counselor, therapist, teachers, principal. Unfortunately, I've come to know a lot of my school nurses and principals for all of my children. Yes.
5 kids at 5 different schools at one point.
Yes, that was, yeah, yep. So, and you know, someone would call and say, you know, this is Mr. So and so, but they would never say for what kid, and I had to guess what kid it was for, but I could go to my sheet and be like, okay, I know it's, you know, child number A or whatever. Um, but you know, there's information on here saying, you know, it's a good idea to keep all your documentation together, you know, have a binder just for that child. Again, that works for us, but it may not necessarily work for you. The other thing that we came up with is, because there's 5 kids and different people that I'm constantly talking to, doctors or therapy or therapists or whatnot, I have the sheet that I came up with, and it just has the agency, the address, the phone number, the contact person, email, you know, the description of the service. So it might be the, you know, a DD, mental health, it might be maybe therapy or whatever. And then I just kind of write kind of what we talked about, the date I called, the contact person, the way of communication, and then notes for myself, just because, like I said, there's 5 kids, lots of doctors, lots of therapists, lots of whatever. It just kind of helps me to keep everything together.
That's excellent, and I think even that a
Hmm.
parent will look at and go, "Wow, that's a lot." And it is.
It is.
It is a lot, but once you get rolling and once you have that kind of information, it really makes a huge difference, not only for yourself in trying to stay organized because it is so overwhelming, but also um, when the doctors see that, when the schools see that in different people, it has an impact because they see how important this is to you, how much you're prioritizing it. And I've noticed with you and those interactions, it tends to help garner a good relationship with them when they see those efforts.
And you know, I would say too, especially with the medications, you know, you don't want to tell the doctor, oh, yep, you know, my child's taking, we'll just say vitamin D, but vitamin D and it's, you know, whatever the milligrams, but they have something different, you know, you can go back to your sheet and say, no, this is what they're taking in A, B, and C, you know. You just you just want to make sure that you have your I's dotted, your T's crossed.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that's fantastic. We don't want these to be too long. We want it to be just long enough for people to get a piece of information, get some contact information. We'll have links on each video
Right.
so people can reach out to us. And hopefully, we'll be doing a lot more of these. I know you and I have a few more planned. We've got some people that we're lining up, a physical therapy
Yep.
program, a couple of service agencies that we've talked to, a schooling program. So hopefully we'll be getting more and more of these videos out there and hopefully they can be a help to people and help get folks down the road.
I think that would be great.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking the time and I'm sure we will do another one of these soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Have a good one and take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.